Hey, good morning, my gorgeous friends on the internet. I have my redneck hat on. It's not redneck, actually. It's cool. I feel cool. Okay, that's not cool. That's not cool. Today we are gonna do the parallax effect. We're gonna finish the whole section. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is what we're gonna... No, that's not what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Take a look. Scroll down. Boom, look at that. And then we have animations as well. And the 3D effect with the lady going down and the mountains moving down. Really cool. So, wanna do it? You wanna do it? That sounds weird. But do you wanna do it? Let's do it. Let's go. All right, let me close Twitter. I'm gonna open up my Visual Studio, so this is empty. I'm gonna attach a file with all the GitHub good stuff. So you have the images, you have everything, everything's ready to go. I'm gonna copy paste everything over because I'm lazy. I have the code, I made it, so I have my permission, but you have the permission too. So copy, paste, and we'll get through the files, okay? So the images are fine. Style.css, I'm gonna basically remove everything besides the star here, all right, with the thing. Script, we're gonna get rid of everything because I'm gonna explain everything there. Here we just have style.css. We have a font or whatever, and that's it. Here I'm gonna clean everything up again, and I'll just leave this bottom section here in the body. So basically you can go over to Cloudflare cdn.js and you can copy over these things. We need TweenMax, which is gonna be the animation library thing, Scroll Magic, which allows us to combine it with the animation, so basically doing scroll animations. And this plugin here, Animation GSAP, is basically the combiner of these two. So it allows this thing to work with that thing. Wow, fascinating. And then we just have a script.js. All right, so super simple, duper simple. Okay, let's go. So let's head over to the body. So go inside your body, and the code, I should mention, not actually physically. Okay, and in here, we'll just do a simple nav. Let's do actually a section here. All right, so section, and then we'll have a nav in here. Just keep it super simple. We're gonna run through this. Developed by Ed. This is gonna be our little nav section. And in here, let's do a class. Wow, a class with a class. Let's do a button here that is gonna be sign up or something. Sign up. All right, href, you know what? We don't need it because this is a fake ass website. All right, so we have our nav, and then we're gonna create a container, and this is basically where we're gonna have our text and our images animating. All right, so we're gonna have a main title in here. Let's call this a h2 main title. Call it explore, like that. Lovely. Image, let's do a source. All right, this is gonna be bg1, and I'm also gonna add a class of bg1. It's BG, not BJ. Why am I thinking of BJ? Oh my God. Okay, BG1. Let's go here next. Let's go and call this girl, all right? Because we have we have BG and a girl. All right. And then we have a class of girl. And then we have a rock. Let me write this. Okay, rock. Why is this not working? Come on, rock. Okay, class rock. Whew, okay, so that's it. This is the whole animation section. And then we have our rest of the content. I'm just gonna name it content here, where we have basically content images. So basically this is this section. Let me show you really quickly so you know what I mean. I closed everything up. Are you kidding me? Where's my other code? Let me see the finished version. All right, so we're basically adding this part. So just additional content, whatever. Why is it translating to Latin? Who wants Latin? Okay, let's go here. So basically these are these two images here. All right, these two sections here. So content images, and I'll just do two diffs here. All right, just random. It's gonna be Swiss left, which is Switzerland. H4 Switzerland, and then I'll add a H3 saying mountains of Tibidabo. Okay, that's it. Now I'm gonna copy paste this and just change the image to keep this simple. So simplistic. Please decipher. What am I saying? Please decipher my linguistic. Okay. So after this whole thing, so after the content images, I'm just gonna add 2 paragraphs down below. So I'm just gonna call this p text like that. Just add some lorem, 30. All right, we can do one more. I don't know, just have some text that we can visualize. Okay, that's it, that's the whole thing. So we can close this up, we can open this up in live server. Everything's gonna look bad, but it's fine. Okay, so this is how everything looks now. All right, just all the content flowing down. Not nice, not too nice. Okay, so let's go here to the CSS. And basically what I wanna do is, let's grab the container. It's a container, all right, where the images are and everything else. I'm gonna add a height to it, so height 100 VH. Let's also add a background of black so we can see what's going on. Black like my life. Okay, there we go. Black, darkness, depression, all the good stuff. Okay, so basically what I wanna do is add all of these images. So these images with the rock, with the girl on top of each other. BJ with the girl, everything together. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, we can grab the images, container images, and we can just add a position absolute. That's basically gonna remove it from the page and we can slap it wherever we want. So position absolute, and there we go. As you can see already, everything got jumbled up here into one place. Perfect, that's what we want. So now we can add a width of 100%. So we stretch it all the way out like that. All right, so it covers up this whole section. That's good. What we can also do is, let's see here. We can add a height to it. Let's do 100 VH, like that. All right, so now it covers up this whole section. And there's a bit of a problem because the image gets squashed up. So if you want to avoid that, you can just say object fit cover. That's going to stretch it out so it's completely fine. Now there's some other problems like this text being up here. We want to move it down here. The way we can do that is again with position absolute. So we can just grab, I think we called it main title. Again, anything you want to rip out of the screen, you can just add a position absolute and boom, shebang, it's out. But the problem is it's kind of hidden behind the image now. So what we can do is just go here to the images and add a z index of -1. So what is this going to do is actually put it behind everything else. So now you can see only the background popping up here, but we can see the text, which is nice. So again, it's kind of like you have your image here and you have your background where you kind of stick to it, add z index -1, boom, it goes to the back. All right. So how do we see the images now? Well, we can just get rid of this background color and now it's poking through. Okay, fantastic. What else do we need to do? Well, let's kind of position this explore in the middle here. So we can do top 50%, we can do left 50%, all right, to kind of put it there. We can also make the font size a bit bigger. Let's do like 7 rem, 6 rem, all right, that's good. And we can use transform translate to perfectly put it in the middle. Translate -50, -50%, that's how you do it, all right, and then it's perfectly centered. Now I kind of actually want to move it a bit up, so we can do top 40 here and 40 here. It's going to move everything up a bit. Even 30 maybe, like that. All right. And what's the difference between this and this? Well, if we don't have this, let's take a look on the left side. It starts from 50%, all right? So the text, it's 50 here, but the text goes on and on and on. Okay, so if your text is longer, blah, 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 it's gonna flow all the way to the end of the page. So what this transform translate does, it takes the actual element and moves it back 50%. So basically explore here, all right, the length of this, and it takes half of it and moves it back. So it's perfectly centered. All right, so save, boom, perfectly centered. Fantastic. All right, so we have our title there. Now let's also move the nav inside here. So let's just go up here somewhere and just grab the nav. Again, kind of the same thing. We can add a position absolute and boom, there we go. It's already inside. We can add a display flex, padding. I don't know, let's do 3 rem top and bottom, 10 rem left and right. There we go. And then we can just add a justify content, space between. All right. Now it doesn't work yet because this is our width right now. So if I add a background to this, background light blue, all right, look at that. This is the size of it right now. So I need to add a width of 100%. If I add a width of 100%, boom, now it has space to stretch out. All right, so that's cool. Let's see, what else do we need to do? Nothing really. That's fine. I guess if you want to style up the button, you can. I'm just gonna keep it simple like this. Okay, so that's the whole shebang here. I think we are ready to move on. Let's see what I want to do next. Should we just do this whole section down here? Yeah, let's do it. Let's just grab the content here. Content width, add 100% to this again. Background is gonna be black or like super dark. I'll do something like that, 24. All right, good. Just add a height to this, 100 VH. I guess let's do min height. Min height, 100 VH. All right. I'll add a Z index of 2 on this. I'm not sure if we need this, but basically what we want to do is grab this content from here and kind of scroll it on top of this section, kind of like this. So as you can see, the section kind of goes on top of it. So I'll add Z index 2. Okay, something else. I think that should be fine. Let's just do content images. I'll add display flex to this, justify content space around. I can just kind of move everything nicely into a place. Whoops, this one. There we go. Okay, so something like that. I'll add align items to center. Now this is not going to do anything, as you can see, because it doesn't have any height. So I'll just do a min height here. I'll just give it some space, 60 VH. All right, so there we go. And it's perfectly centered. Let's also align the text in the middle. So you can do text align center. All right, there we go, drops it right there. And yeah, that's it. That's about it. I guess if you want to kind of make these prettier, you can. I'll just basically move the text here. I think we added text as a class. Let me see. Yeah, just text. I'll just add a padding to it. 2 rem, 20 rem, like that. So it's kind of centered in here. I guess a bit of a font size change. Font size 1.1 rem. Should be good. Okay, just something so it doesn't look too terrible. Okay, so let's kind of JavaScript this mother lover up. All right, so how do we do that? Well, quite simple actually. What we need is scroll magic, okay? So scroll magic, again, allows us to trigger specific animations when we scroll. So the way you initialize this is actually create a controller. So let controller new scroll magic dot controller. All right, so you do this basically every time. And on this controller, what you can do is basically add scenes to them. So maybe you have multiple different scroll animations running on the page. So maybe you have one specific for this section, maybe you have one specific for that section. So you create these scenes and you add them to this controller that kind of handles everything for you. All right, so just create that, it's fine. Then we go let timeline, new timeline max. Okay, so what the hell is this? New timeline max. Well, GSAP allows us to do simple animations, but with timeline, what we can do is chain together multiple animations. So maybe I want this to run, and after that finishes running, then this runs. So we can create the timeline for that. Now, let me give you an example right now. So I can just do, if I do timeline like this, okay, just hit enter and say 2, right, like this below. All right, I can do, let's do text. All right, so the first element is going to be, the first parameter is going to be the element. So in this case, I want to grab the paragraph of the page. So I just grab it with a class. Then we can add a duration. So that's 5. And then what do we want to do? Well, I want to change the, let's say the X position to 500. All right, so that's the whole shebang. Let's take a look. So as you can see, as soon as I refresh, boom, it moves like that. Okay, so with timeline, again, what we can do is just delete the last semicolon here and add another 2. And then we can grab something else. Let's say we want to grab the content images here. Dot content images. All right, I can add another duration to it. Let's say 2 seconds on this one, and I can just make the opacity go to 0. All right, so now this moves for 5 seconds, and after this finishes, this whole thing is going to fade away. So as you can see, this is the power of it. We can chain together multiple animations. Now, what if I want, let's just do 2 seconds. What if I want to run this at the same time? Well, what we can do here is at the end of the curly brackets, I can add a comma and say minus equals 2 seconds. All right, so I can actually start it at the same time. So 2 seconds faster than whatever is here, up here. So if I save now, look at that, they start at the same time. All right, so we have like full control about what we want to do. I'm just gonna get rid of this whole thing for now. But what we can also do is do a from to. So what does that mean? Well, if I do 2 here, and maybe I want the opacity to go to 1. Okay, well, cool, but it's already 1. But how can I go from 0 to 1? Well, you can do from to, like that. And then you define the thing. And then here you remove this and just say opacity 0. So the first curly bracket is going to define the starting point. And then the second one is going to define the ending point. And you add duration in here, I believe, duration. I might be completely wrong on this because I'm not sure which GSAP version I'm referring to. So this might not work. Oh, I think, is this how you do it in version 3? Or am I completely wrong? Let me just see really quickly. GSAP 2. I think I put in GSAP version 2. Why did I use GSAP version 2? Yeah, this is GSAP TweenMax version 2. Okay, let's go to CDN, TweenMax. Let's see, where is it? Okay, let's do GSAP version 3, copy script tag. I think this should work just fine. See, this is the thing with these libraries. I'm not even sure what does this include. So let's paste this last part in here. GSAP min version 3. Let's see, does this work? Okay, so it works. All right, let's just add GSAP version 3. Okay, so there we go. So now if I refresh, take a look at that. All right, so we can do from to as well. Lovely. Okay, perfect. So let's animate this section up here. How do we do that? Well, let's get rid of everything. I'm just gonna do 2 here. So timeline 2, we'll grab the rock, we'll add a time to it. Let's do maybe 3 seconds. And then we'll animate the Y position. So I'll say Y, it's gonna be minus 600 or something, all right? Then we can do again, I'll grab the girl. We can do 3 seconds. Basically, the duration is gonna be the same because we wanna animate everything nicely together. The Y, let's do minus 400 on this. Let's see how that looks. Hit save. Now, as you can see, this is separate now, but I want these to animate together. So what I'm gonna do is just go here and add a comma and say string minus equals 3. All right, so now they move together. All right, so the rock is faster, the lady is slower a bit, and then finally the background is also gonna move. So let's do BG, right? 3 seconds, and then I'll do top. So I wanna move the top down. Well, let's see, how are we gonna do this? Just do the Y, let's do 200. So this one is gonna go the opposite direction. And then I'll do minus equals 3. So let's see. Okay, why does the background, okay, the background doesn't move because I forgot the dot here. That's how you select it with a class. It still doesn't work. God damn it. Why you do this to me? Let's see, why does this not work? Did I not add a class? Oh, BG1, okay, fine, BG1, there we go. Okay, the problem is though, that, you know, it's all white up here and we don't want that. Now this doesn't matter here that these are going up because we're gonna scroll down. But I guess we could make the movement a bit smaller. So let's do 200 here, or 300, 200, and then here's something like 50. All right, just to make it a bit more subtle. Again, we're gonna fix this, so let's not worry about it for now. But what I also wanna do now is kind of hook this up to scrolling, all right? Because right now it just kind of happens. So how the way we do it is we create, wow, is we create a scene. So new scroll magic dot scene, like this. All right, and in here we can add a curly bracket and define some parameters. For example, when do I want these animations to trigger? So I can say trigger element. And basically I can say, hey, when you're on the section, that's when you want to trigger it, which basically means instantly. All right, because you can basically start triggering this any time you want. So maybe when I scroll and hit this image, that's when you start the animation or whatever. This is where you define that. Next up, we can add a duration. I'm going to show you what this is later on. I'm just going to say 100%. And then finally, the trigger hook, like this. This basically defines where do you want to start triggering the animation. So for example, on this image, all right? So let's say you want to start the animation as soon as you get to this image. Well, at which point, when you're hitting it on top here, when you hit it on the middle, or when you're at the end of the image, that's when you want to start. And that's what this trigger hook is. So right now on this section, if we add 0 here, it's going to trigger as soon as we start scrolling. If we add 1 here, it's going to trigger as soon as we get to the end of the section. All right, so I hope that makes sense. And you can do 0.5, which is going to do it halfway. Okay, so now what we do is we hook up the animation here to the scene. So set tween, this is how we do it. And we just add this timeline that we made up here. And then finally, we add it to the controller. So this scroll magic scene, we just hook it up to the controller. All right, so as you can see, nothing animates anymore. But as soon as I start scrolling, look at that, it starts animating. Pretty cool. Now there's specific things that are still wrong with this. For example, this page doesn't move on top of it. So the way we can do that is to pin it. So we want to pin this page here, so this whole page, kind of stick it and let the other content come on top of it. That sounds so dirty, oh my god. Set pin, so you just add it here on the scene, set pin, and we can just set pin the section, the whole section, like that. Now as you can see, as soon as I'm done, it sticks to it, but this other page still doesn't move on top of it. How did I fix this? Let me think about it. I guess we can pin only the... What if we pin only this part? I still don't think it works. I think we need to add position absolute. So let me just try to do it with a container. Yeah, I believe this still didn't work. Yeah, it just sticks it there and then it resumes kind of scrolling everything else. All right, so we can see the animation and then it just resumes. Let's just go back to section the way we had it. And let's just go here to our style.css, go up to the content right here, okay? So the second page, and just add a position absolute to this as well. All right, there we go. And now what we want to do is in here, I'm just gonna say, hey, add another 2 and just say content, all right? Grab the content, 3 seconds, and move it all the way to the top. So I'm gonna say 0%. Minus, and I'm gonna do the same thing here, minus equals 3, so it runs at the same time. Whoops. Gotta do it after here. So comma, like that. All right? Look at that. So now it moves nicely on top. Perfect. So this is looking okay. There's still that white part here. So the way we can fix that is here we can add a from to. Just say from to. And the difference is gonna be the starting position. I'm gonna actually push it up a bit, like minus 50. Okay, comma, and then push it down to 0. All right, so it kind of aligns everything. So I'm actually gonna push the background up a bit more. And then when it scrolls, it's fine. All right, there we go. Also need to define a duration in here, 3 seconds, so it matches everything else. All right, there we go. So now we got a nice smooth effect. There we go. Now this kind of pokes out here, as you can see. It doesn't look that nice. So we can fix that as well. It's not an issue. What we can do is, let's go back here to the images, not the style.css. Just make the height a bit bigger here on the images. Image 110. Okay, there we go. So it stretches out a bit. There we go. Love it. Pretty cool, right? And yeah, that's about it. I guess if you want to add more, you can just go here and add 2, and you can do the, with the opacity from 2. You can grab this whole section, like the content, images, and just add 3 seconds, and then opacity. Oops, I guess opacity starting off from 0, opacity from 0, and then opacity to 1 with a duration of 3 seconds, like that. Okay, so if you want to animate these parts as well, you can. Okay, why is it not working? See? So make sure you get rid of the semicolon, because it's going to mess everything up for you if you don't. There we go. All right, so it works. Now, the more animations you add here, the faster it's going to go, because this is what this duration is. You're going to scroll basically for the whole section of this page, right? But if you have like 10,000 animations, it's going to do them faster and faster. All right, so it's quite fast. So if you want to make this longer, just go here and add the duration a bit bigger. We can do 200. All right, so now it's a bit slower. And you can increase this as much as you want. And you can mess around with these durations as well. So with this one is basically, if you want to make this twice as long as the rock animation, you just increment this to 6. So now take a look. All right, so the girl is 2 times slower now than everything else. I'm gonna usually keep everything equal there. But there we go. I guess we can do 300 as well. Try to see how that looks. Okay, now it's quite slow. But yeah, there we go. Pretty cool. We can do it to the text as well. Just copy paste this whole thing. Make sure you remove the semicolon at the end there. And we can just do text here, right? Text. And there we go, look at that. Lovely. I like it. I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, let me know what you think. Did I want to do anything else? Oh yeah, and here for the mobile, I mean, I guess just add display flex to that and it should be pretty fine. Everything should still work the same. So yeah, that's gonna be it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope I didn't ramble on for too long, but that's gonna be it for me today. Love you all so much. If you want to check out some web dev courses, they're down below. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.